Bil Alameen. Inshallah. I know the chairman well. You know, they have been doing a lot. I'm quite sure as time goes on, he may increase me sometime. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa ba'du. Ayyuhal ulama, al-ajilla, al-a'imma, al-sada, al-sasa, والذين وفدوا من جنوب الجنوب وجنوب الشرق وجنوب الغرب نهنئكم ونقول لكم جمعاء سلام الله تبارك وتعالى عليكم ورحمته وبركاته. يسرني أن أستقبلكم الضيوف الذين استجابوا لقوله تبارك وتعالى للدعوة لله، تركوا أهليهم وتركوا نفيس وتركوا الأصدقاء وتركوا البلد حتى يشهدوا هذا المكان المبارك. أسأله تبارك وتعالى أن يتولى جزاءكم وجزاء الجميع. سامحوني أن أتكلم بلغة الاستئمار وهي اللغة الرسمية للدولة، وإن شاء الله في لقاءات القادمة ستكون بلغة القرآن الكريم. The chairman of this occasion, our elderly brother in the field of struggle, and I thought he has already been aged now and the struggle will be minimized. Unfortunately, I found out that it's becoming wider and wider. Sheikh Alhaji Kunle Thani, all the way from Ibadan, Oyo State. You are welcome, sir. The Honorable Minister of FCT, Muhammad Bello Musa, a father who has been in support of CFF all the time. His doors are open to us. May Allah increase him in Iman. Heavily represented by an Imam. I always address him as an Imam too. Muhammad Bashir, Director Resource Person, Human Resource, who is already taking the seat of the Minister. May Allah reward you for your time. Our father, the chairman of this great center, UK Umar, distinguished senator, Sarkin Kibia, MNI, OON in capital letters. You are welcome, sir. You know, when you have OON in an organization, so many ONs, you have the one that is having capital letters and the one that are small letters. Professor Muhammad Mansour, who is a big sheikh in this nation and beyond, we sincerely thank you for your time. Professor Tajuddeen Bilal Asra is my senior in the university. I could recall clearly that when we entered into the university, already they are just by the way of going out after the masters and the Ph.D. I want to recognize everybody here, sir, with permission of the chairman. It gives me pleasure to recognize those who have honored us. Even if it is their names I can mention to sit down, I think I've delivered the message. So with your permission, chairman, I'm not ruling anyway. I have joy in doing that. So thank you very much. KK, I always call him KK. In fact, the KK is so sweet to me. He is the DG of An-Nur, that vibrant mosque in the capital city that is actually a standard of international. It is our hope that after completing that mosque, we are going to have a duplicate of that mosque in all the states. And I'm quite sure DG is going to lead that move, inshallah. You are welcome, DG. Also, very, very close here, Ismail Mbala, who is representing the GMD NMPC. Mele Kiari. Also, I will take the names one after the other without making much of explanation. The Ameer of Muslim professionals in Dawrah, engineer, but I always call him Sheikh, no more engineer, because the engineering in the Dawrah is so actually clear. Alhaji Farouk, you are welcome, sir. My chairman, Alhaji Abdullah Badamasi, a father, I recall vividly When I came as a copper in FCT, they are the ones who have welcomed us, mentored us, assisted us, guided us, until they are making actually the guidance. You are welcome, sir. Alhaji Abdullah Badamansi, chairman of Al-Maraz Center for Islamic Education. By his side also, very closely, is Dr. Haruna Aja. When he came yesterday, I tried to speak the little Igbo I know, and I said Kedu Kodu, and he was very appreciative. Next to him is the chair, actually the Imam of National Mosque, Professor Muhammad Kabir, who is representing the Murshid of the National Mosque. As you can see him seated very close to Aja. Next to him is my very close friend. We serve together, Alhaji Abdullah Digi, who actually is representing again Kebbi State. The MC mentioned that the 19 states of the North were here last year, including FCT making 20. Only Kebbi were absent last week, last sitting. And their flight was cancelled in the airport. That was why they are not here. And today, Abdullah Digi is representing Kebbi State, so that he will inform them of what actually have gone through here. Next is my chairman, the chairman of this institution mosque, Dr. Hamza Gambo, whom I supposed to mention first, so that the mosque will recognize that the Imam has recognized his chairman. Next to him also, permit me actually to escape some names, and next to him also, and and everybody who is here is appreciated. I will not forget to mention Dr. Qasim Badmas, who actually is here. Also the CG Customs, whom actually must be mentioned. He's our neighbor here, not only an ordinary neighbor, but a very powerful, strong neighbor. He was here much earlier than any other person. Nuruddin Asonoge is also here. I can see some faces that I need not to mention. The chairman, Council of Imams of Kano State, he must be mentioned. He must be mentioned. Actually, Sheikh Nasir is a wonderful person. You are welcome, sir. Alhaji Abdul Fattah Thani, you are welcome, sir. Alhaji Adiyatullah, who is a father all this while, is also here. You are welcome, sir. And let me use the language of the chair by saying that I should just go ahead to the paper. I beg to stand on the existing protocols. All other imams who are here are recognized, specially and specially mentioned. Mala Idris Musa, really we don't know how to appreciate him. He has been a father to this organization all this while. He always called to correct anything that goes wrong. In fact, he was sick. When I told him that he may actually not, he said he is coming. Even if it is 10 minutes, he was coming here to see the Juma'ah and go back. Rankede Zaki Mungodi. Our chief imam of the villa, you know, in occasion of this nature, president may not be here. But if the imam of the president is here, I always feel comfortable that the president is here. That is Sheikh Imam Abdul Wahid Abu Bakr Suleiman. You are welcome, sir. The topic of my discussion, I am going to speak to the paper. I'm not going to take much of our time. I'm going to speak to the paper. The paper, as you have seen, is Imams Unity and National Development. Imams Unity and National Development. I think the screen will assist a lot if I am not able to say all that is contained here. Now, if we look at the topic itself, the word Wahadat al-A'imma, the word Imam is a very big key word there. And of course, the sitting is for the Imams. Allah had mentioned Imams in the Quran in several chapters of the Quran and verses. Among, of course, is that of Surah Al-Sajdah, where Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. Now Allah says, we made them Imams to guide by our command when they were patient and persevering. And they were certain, they were convinced of our communications. Now, this verse has some keywords that are very important to note. Of course, Allah is discussing the Bani Israel in the Quran. They are generation that came after, before us. Then we have learned a lot of their life in our own religion. Allah said we made them ai-imma. They are guiding. Among their activity, primarily, is for them to guide mankind. So an imam is somebody who guides. He guides by the commandments of the creator of creation. He doesn't guide from his own selfish interest, from his own feeling, from his own thinking. That's why the Quran is revealed to the Ummah of Rasulullah ﷺ to serve as a book of guidance. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. So his guidance are guidance that are moderated. Already they are packaged for him to follow. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوا وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ. Imam should not create a pattern unknown. He should maintain the design pattern by the creator of creation. Now Allah says this position is given to them because they are extra patient. Lamma sabaru. The word sabr is a very big word. Being patient is not only patient in the mosque. It will be all around your life. You should be patient with worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His commandments, His do's and His don'ts. You must be patient with what Allah has decreed. Because Allah has decreed He's going to try mankind, and especially those who are believers, and especially Imam. وَلَنَبُلْوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. So you can see why a Muslim is that person who is open-minded to be patient in all forms of trials in life. Today, we are in trial of insecurity in our nation, in some part of the country. A Muslim should be extra patient and confront the challenge with guiding mankind into the best of the wish of the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shouldn't just feel that it's not normal. No, it is normal. Allah can try you in any way. And I'm quite sure Nigerians are undergoing a number of trials, which if time permits, some are going to be discussed, that Imam has a role to play in molding and moderating and guiding and instructing and advising the Muslim Ummah on how to go about it. Of course, he must be patient first. When Imam is not patient, then there is no way he will direct his followers to do the same. وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. And these Imams are certain, they are convinced, they agree that the content of what Allah has communicated to us is the best way you live your life. They don't have any doubt. Now, if an Imam is lucky, not only to read, not only to understand, but to implement the content of this verse and many of its like that has mentioned Imam, then that Imam is going to be successful. Allah says again, وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ وَإِقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ وَكَانُوا لَنَا عَابِدِينَ. You can see some words are being repeated because of their importance, guidance, command, following the instruction that Allah has commanded, and doing righteousness. Fil al-khairat. This area is a key to an Imam to know. You should be doing good all the time. You should actually be open-minded, open-faced, in fact, open pockets to all those who come your way, not only Muslims. This fil al-khairat is very broad. And you know that is the duty of all messengers, commanding doing goodness. So you as an Imam should be a role model in this field, establishing salat, giving zakat, and then kanu lana abidin. They are into committed, dedicated worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam should have extra extra worship more than his followers. After the khutbah, after the daily prayers, after reconciliation, after Tarawih, and so many other acts that is public. For him to be an Abid, he must have extra covered or non-worship between him and Allah. And that qualifies him to be a Mukhlis, which we are going to bring the case study of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam when he was on trial of women. Allah saved him because of his commitment and sincerity. So Imam should have an act of worship, secret known to him between him and Allah, like tahajjud, like fasting of Mondays and Thursdays, which are not compulsory, like tasbih, zikr, istighfar, salatu ala nabi, as much as possible. That should be between him and Allah, so that that relationship will be solid, and that solidness will assist him in delivering the message, because the message is a difficult one. And especially in Nigeria today, it's more difficult to deliver as an Imam if really you are committed. In Baqarah, Allah says, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا قَالَ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ أَحَدِ الظَّالِمِينَ. And when his Lord tried Ibrahim with certain words, examination, which means an Imam can be examined before he's given the position of Imam. Allah examined Nabi Ibrahim. He knows him. He trained him. He knows his ability. In fact, he called him an ummah. Ibrahim kana ummah, a community, a nation of his own. But with that, Allah examined him. So examine an Imam before you emerge as an Imam is not a new thing in Sharia of Islam. So that you select the best, the most competent, the one that will deliver. And today, unfortunately, in your presence, I cannot say this, but we have Imams who are not qualified to be Imams. And Nabi Ibrahim responded that also make Imams in my progeny, among my children, my zuriyah. And Allah said no. Not complete no, but la yanalu ahadi zalimin. Wrongdoers among your progeny can never emerge to be Imams. And that's why this position is a delicate one. It takes you to Jannah freely, because the reward of every person that prayed behind you is going to be documented for you. And when you mislead that 5,000 people coming to your mosque because of worldly materials, then the consequences of each is going to reflect in your account of bad deeds. That's why it's not an easy job for you just to claim a title like any other title, that you are Imam and you feel comfortable and proud of being Imam, when you cannot discharge the duties and responsibilities of an Imam. Now here I will mention quickly some of the qualities that must be there in one so as to achieve being a successful Imam. Fear of Allah. As much as for us to learn, Allah says to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya ayyuhan nabi ittaqillah. You know, this work will look very big when you are discussing the personality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he was being communicated by the Quran, by Allah himself, which means you as an Imam should be communicated that you should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the consequences of not fearing him in that your position is very dangerous. Of course, this is extended to believers also. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. And that's why when Rasulullah started addressing community, he always started by those verses that call upon one to recall Allah and to fear Allah and to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Role model. An Imam should be a role model. He must practice what he has learned, in fact, even before informing his followers. Self-reliance. An Imam must have what he rely on of his source of income after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't just be a successful Imam when you cannot raise what you are going to consume, you and your family in your house. You are going to be an Imam being controlled. You are going to be an Imam who will change words after a khutbah, and somebody will just come to you and say, look, that khutbah is too hot. And you say, I'm sorry, I don't know you are around. Because all the charity, all the sadaqat comes from him. You are only on the minbar, but he detects a number of things you are going to say. Unfortunately, if you go by figure, you find out that our imams in this country are not trained to have source of income. In fact, in some areas, if an imam is having a shop, people see it as an act of condemnation. The only thing imam should do is to have his own corner and big turban, not like my own like this, and then a very big abaya, and then a very big, and then followers sitting down around him, waiting for the sadaqah to come up. Of course, things are changing. But till date, we have imams who are jobless, who are not even thinking of doing the job. That imam who is not self-reliant cannot be a perfect, successful imam. Contentment. This follows even if you have. An imam should show a sign of being contented. And this, not only the imam, he must communicate his family. Because some imams are contented. But the 3 wives he has married, 2 of them are tough. He cannot decide any matter except when they decide for him. Here you see the imam losing this quality of being contented. Because Hajjah will not take it lightly, so automatically he has to go out of his way. That's why Allah told Rasulullah sallam. Look, Rasul is the best of mankind, but Allah told him that in much as he's contented, he should inform his wives also to be contented. Ya ayyuhan nabi, qul li azwajika in kuntunna turidna Allah wa rasulahu wa dar al-akhirah fa inna Allah a'adda lil muhsanati min kunna ajran azima. If it is Allah you want, Allah has prepared that for you. But if it is dunya you want, وَزِينَتَهَا فَتَعَالَيْنَ أُمَتِّعَكُنَّ وَأُسَرِّحَكُنَّ سَرَاحًا جَمِيلًا. Declare divorce on them if it is this world and the enjoyment they want. How many imams can make that declaration? I am not saying when you go back to Calabar or you go back to Enugu, you start declaring, so that this conference will not be a conference. That's the last time we're coming to it. But I am saying that in much as you are contented, you must also apply wisdom in making sure your wife or wives also are contented. Focus on current. You must know what is happening of politics in your domain. I'm sure my chairman has said me a lot in this course. Self-discipline, generosity. Imam must be generous. Generous in your face, generous in your pocket, generous in everybody that comes your way. Talk to them beautifully. Don't talk to even non-Muslim badly. It's generosity. When you are communicating in a Muslim in the best of words, you are implementing the content of the Quran, and you are representing Islam as a good ambassador, as an imam. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ husna, not to Muslimin only. Talk to them beautifully. Address them in the best of way. Tell them good morning, sir. There is nothing in an imam to say sir to anybody. Your sir should not deter you of looking at the face of whosoever and telling him the content of the Quran, because that is your constituency. As far as a politician will not feel fear of telling you what is politics, you shouldn't fear. They know you to be an imam. So what is different? In fact, it is when you compromise that you have deceived yourself, you have deceived the people, and then they will say, look at that imam, in underrating your personality. But when you tell them the truth and people are surprised, they will say, yes, he's an imam. And try it, you have more honor. Long as you don't go about seeking for their assistance in their homes, in their offices. Sincerity. I mentioned that was what Allah mentioned about Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam in saving him in the trial of women. Imam should be careful of women, because you give them lectures, you address them, they see you on media, they communicate you, they do a number of things where care is not taken. You are going to fall in their plans and plots. 5 minutes. So be extra careful. 5 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will keep to time. Dedication and commitment, knowledge is very key. Brave and courageous, humbleness doesn't deny you being position of an imam. Allah has put you in front, and Allah has made you to talk when everybody must be silent. Even the president must be silent when you are talking. The minister is here, he is also an imam, so I'm safe from these words I've uttered. Imam must always pray for his nation. Not a contracted prayers, a prayers within your heart. You need not to be contracted by anybody to pray. You are beyond that. You are not there as opening a shop. You are there representing the Ummah. So make your prayers very, very expensive. Nobody should actually pay you for prayers' sake. At times you go doing the wrong thing in your prayers just because you are being paid for it. You are beyond that. But it is a duty primary on you to pray for your nation, because that was the case with all the messengers. Brotherhood. I must mention brotherhood because there is no way you establish unity when brotherhood is not there. Unfortunately, among what has paralyzed the unity of Imams in this nation is taking brotherhood very, very lightly, not serious. I was happy yesterday. I'm among those who are welcoming our guests that came from 19 states. And Imo, Anambra, Akwa Ibom, and Abia, they sat down to discuss within themselves in the hotel. I was highly, highly amazed. In fact, there is no forum for them to meet like that. And they said it clearly that I have never had that opportunity earlier than this. I can see they are well educated. The barrister among them, Zulkarnain, I could recall Imam, Suleiman, I could recall also. All the chair of the states started discussing that they need to go forward. This forum is a forum that they used to use in increasing their commitment and coming together. Brotherhood cannot be established just like that. There must be sacrifice. That's why Allah says about the companions whom really has established brotherhood which the world have never seen. Allah says about them in the Quran, Inna alladhina amanu wa hajaru wa jahadu bi amwalihim wa anfusihim walladhina awaw wa nasaru ulaika ba'duhum awliya'u ba'dhin. والذين آمنوا ولم يهاجروا ما لكم من ولاية من شيء حتى يهاجروا وإن استنصروكم في الدين فعليكم النصر إلا على قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق والله بما تعملون بصير. Now this brotherhood among the Muhajirun and the Ansar has never been seen by the generation before that of Rasulullah sallam. And in fact after him no generation can establish that. Brothers and sisters, my chairman, who is generous to add me some minutes, Kuffar are having this loyalty among themselves. The country is very clear. Muslims should open their eyes. We are all brothers, regardless of Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or whatsoever. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu. This should be established. We should find a way of bringing closer to us our brothers, particularly the Imams from the southern part of this country. And I think the apology should come from our side. When you have people you know they are minority, they need your assistance. You need not to be told. You need not to be told. We have the resources, we have the intellectualism, we have the diplomacy, we have all it takes to see that our brothers in this house are always together with us. Allah will ask all of us of this reality, which actually is not practical. Brotherhood must come first, and unity will follow it, because this ummah has been recited. I need not to repeat the verse. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَأَنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُونِ وَأَنَا رَبُّكُمْ فَاتَّقُونِ. We are one single entity. That's why our Quran is one, our Qibla is one, our prayers is one, our fasting is one, our Hajj is one, our everything is unique and one. In fact, that's why Islam is universal in nature. Yes, I think the chairman will generously give me additional 10 minutes. No, sir. No. I beg, sir. I will open the pages now. You see, the second part of the paper is development of the nation. What is going to be the role of Imam in developing the nation? A number of Imams feel that it is only politicians and leaders and ministers and directors who are in charge. Look, your primary assignment is much more than that. You are bigger than that. Much bigger. Why? Because you are connecting. You are connecting your followers with the creator of all creations. That's why your role is the biggest of roles. I mentioned here some of the challenges hindering development in Nigeria. I mentioned corruption, ignorance, hypocrisy, lack of political will, selfishness, nepotism, tribalism, lack of patriotism, lack of commitment and dedication, lack of discipline, insecurity, BH, farmers' headers clashes, kidnappers, oil bunkering, political thuggery, lack of implementation of government policies. You know, we have beautiful policies, but they are just there in paper most of the time. I will only pick corruption. You have the ICPC, you have the EFCC, you have so many CCs. Of course, the Commissioner of Police is here, I beg his pardon, heavily represented. All these agencies are there. But let me tell you, the best way to fight corruption is to connect man with his creator. I'm telling you, if people fear Allah, you open your doors and nobody will enter. You leave your key in the car. Woman, that is clear in Saudi Arabia. For those of us who have been going on Umrah and Hajj, nobody tamper with it. Why all this security vote, because there is no Allah. Even EFCC, people will be doubting EFCC, even ICPC, because they are Nigerians too. They are not from any other world, they are not angels. That's why you see changing. Look, corruption has reached a level in this country that is going to kill Nigerians. You know, the president said, if we do not kill corruption, corruption is going to kill us. Corruption is killing us silently. Look, don't fear to say it. The corruption in this nation has reached the highest level. In the ministerial level, there is corruption. In the two houses we have, there is corruption. Look, even your budget. Some ministries cannot pass their budget until and unless when they give bribery. Mr. Chairman, sir. I have no apology and I'm responsible for what I'm saying. Most of them, please. In fact, corruption has become an order of the day, undocumented, accepted, no apology for it. Supporters are more. I just fear that one day it will be in the constitution, allowing it. Because really, on practical basis, corruption is everywhere. Don't talk of streets where agencies are on the road collecting money from people. Now, where is the nation going? Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la ta'kulu amwalakum bainakum bil batili illa an takuna tijaratan an taradin minkum wa la taqtulu anfusakum inna Allaha kana bikum rahima. Look, Allah connected corruption with killing of souls. Allah says, don't consume the wealth of others unjustly. And don't kill one another. In Nigeria, the connection is that if you are given a contract of hospital and you go away with the money, or you do it as you want, or road building, or you do it anyhow, and people are dying on the accident, look at the connection between corruption and killing. And I'm telling you, where Imams and real leaders did not stand on their feet to talk about corruption and to fight corruption, I'm telling you, there is no much we are going to achieve in this area because it has been rooted. And that's why we will never, if you see one development, it's supposed to be 10 times that development. Now, Imam, you need to do a lot here. You yourself must be clean from corruption. Because where you are, then you cannot fight it. It will fight you back. And that's why you must have something doing. And look, the authorities must have, okay, Chairman, sir, I will stop. I will stop, sir. I will stop. I've been stopped now. I will stop. Probably, I will just say here that the CFII has been established 18 years ago, as you have seen. We have Talim among ourselves, the Imams, and this one, my brothers coming from the 17 states. We normally sit on a weekly basis to enrich ourselves with knowledge, regardless of your sect, regardless of your color, regardless of your tribe. And I think this is a point we must look into after going. Secondly, we have source of income that is vibrant. We have 2 major bakeries. This program is being sponsored through our own bakery that we have. We did not ask anybody. I'm saying it loudly here. We did not ask anybody of anything. But let me mention clearly, and that of the last year too, we did not ask anybody. But a brother, a single brother, and I must mention that we appreciate him, he paid for our hotels. He did not mind to know what is the amount, he paid for it. He is not present, his representative is present here. Please inform him that Imams are grateful to this. I must appreciate all of you who are here. I don't have word to use in thanking you on behalf of the CFII. You have done us a favor by leaving all your loved ones to be here. But my prayers is please take good things you have seen in this organization to your homes. If not, the program has failed in its mission. Thank you, and thank the chairman for being very generous to me. I know who he is.
Over generous.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.